Ni hao, everybody. It's Andy and Sam with another episode of Two Friends Talking Shit About EPL. What a game week. This was not what we were expecting. A lot of results, very different to how we were predicting. These were not the draws we were looking for. How did you go, Sam? How are you?
I feel like a broken record, Andy, to be honest. It's, every week the team's good, points are bad, and it wasn't a bad week. Still kind of hit the average, but it just could have been better. Probably should have been better, but it is what it is.
Did you have points on your bench this week? That's the question.
Yeah, about 13 of them.
Mate, this is the story of your season. Either you're getting trolled by Bruno Fernandes, which did happen this week, or points on the bench.
Well, let's just dig in. Right, if we're talking about benched points, let's have a look.
Let's go right into it. How'd you go?
So this was me. Sells 1, Robinson with 8, Gabriel 1, Hall with 4, Gordon 2, Salah captain disappointing with only 6, Palmer 2, and Mbumo 2, Gakpo 2, Mateta with 13, Isak 2, Fabianski 2, and then Munoz with 6 on the bench, Rogers with 1, and Kirkes with 7. So my debating about which defenders to play went the wrong way because I benched the ones I shouldn't have. And all week I had Munoz starting over Gabriel all week, and then right before the deadline I changed my mind. So this week we're going to be hands off hours before, and I'm just not going to touch it again because I feel like I'm making.
Wait, is this the week that Gabriel did score, but it was disallowed? Did he score?
Nah, he didn't score. The ball came in from a corner, and he kind of went up for it, and it initially went in as a Gabriel goal, and I was either this week or last week. It went in as a goal, and then it came out as an assist, and then it turned out he never touched it at all. I think it was actually last week against Tottenham, but yeah, like seriously.
But Gabriel's one of those players where you would just never bench him though, because he always has a chance of scoring.
Yeah, that you hope Arsenal have a chance of a clean sheet, and that he's so heavily owned that if you own him and you bench him, it's quite detrimental to your score, as if you just played him anyway. But like, it's just like, what are Arsenal doing with their defense? It's hard to kind of pick really. But so that was me. So I'll just scroll down to 43 altogether. No penalties for transfers because I only made the one, and that was Gordon in for Fernandes. So that was fun. And then that moves me down just a little bit to 1.6. So 1.5 to 1.6. So not a massive drop, but a drop nonetheless.
Fernandes in for Gordon. Mate, this guy just keeps trolling you all season.
Well, I'm done now. I'm done. No more.
Fernandes. Jump on the Ahmad train if you were going to go to a Man United player.
No, I think I'm done with United full stop this year. They've just, when I've had them, they've done nothing. I've had Ahmad at some point as well, and did nothing, and then gone off again. So it is what it is. How did you do?
I look, not the best game week either. Could have gotten, I think I definitely fell in rank this week. Game week rank of 4.9 mil. Got 47 points. Sells in goal with 1 point, which is surprising. I expected them to keep a clean sheet against Southampton, to be honest, but they didn't. Burn with 0. So I did Colwill to Burn, and I thought to myself, how much of a massive troll would it be if Colwill, for the first time or like in a long time, keeps a clean sheet and Burn gets 0? And what happens? Burn gets 0. Colwill did not get his clean sheet though, luckily. But I was also surprised. See, this was one of the scores where I said this was not what we expected. 4-1 loss to Bournemouth at home. Don't get me wrong, Bournemouth are a good team, but Newcastle at home is a thing. And yeah. Bournemouth played really well from all accounts, but still, this is Newcastle at home.
Yeah, it was a weird game to watch. Definitely not what we expected it to be, but it shakes things up.
Yeah. Then we got Robinson with 8, Munoz with 6, Ahmad 2, Palmer 2, Gordon 2. My midfield did not perform this week. Salah with 6, Wood with 12, Haaland with 6, and Isaac. So, look, all in all, on the bench, I got Kanate with 6, which honestly I did not expect. I did not expect Liverpool to keep a clean sheet. So I think I made the right decision. As in, I don't think I would have played Liverpool against Brentford because Brentford normally find a way to score. And when I look at this overall, would I have done anything different? Not really. I don't think I would have done anything different. So I think it's just one of those game weeks which was low scoring, right? Like there's no one here I would have changed. Maybe at most captain someone different, but if it was between Haaland, Salah, and Palmer and Wood, and potentially Isaac, unlikely I was going to captain Wood. So it was either going to be between Haaland and Salah, because Palmer we thought was injured. So yeah, I don't know. Like this is one of those times where even with the captain difference, it wouldn't have made that much of a difference either. My Haaland punt, I brought Haaland in for 2 weeks against Brentford and Ipswich, and didn't really pay off. He didn't score against Brentford and 1 goal against Ipswich. You know, next fixtures are Chelsea, Arsenal, Newcastle, Liverpool. Spurs might be, okay, but Forest, I think it's time to ship Haaland for me. And there's a few other players I'm looking at in my team where I'm thinking, well, do we ship you? Do we keep you? But yeah, overall, small red arrow, 10,000 point red arrow, so down to 174,000. And yeah, like I said, few of these scores. 4-1 Newcastle, didn't expect it. Everton beating Spurs. Everton can score.
No. Don't you jump past the Arsenal Villa. Don't you do that.
Look, remember I said there was a chance they were going to draw. I guess draw. Because Villa's just one of those games that Arsenal, I don't know why. Villa is one of those teams where Arsenal just seem to lose to or draw to.
It's just the manner of it, I think, is a bit hard to take when you know that Arsenal were 2-0 up with not long to go, and then Villa scored 2 quick goals. It's a disappointing way to not pick up 3 points. I mean, it's a bit disappointing for our clean sheet potentials as well. But yeah,
for sure. Everton versus Spurs. Spurs be Spursy. I heard a few rumours do you think Spurs are hitting the point where they're just not that focused on the Premier League anymore because they can't finish top 4?
I think Spurs is more of an injury thing. If you're thinking like the amount of players in their backline that are out, and now you've got Solanke out as well. We were talking like we don't know who's going to play in that front 3. Now it's fairly obvious who's going to play in that front 3 because half of them are injured. So
is it time for Richarlison?
No.
That was a really quick no.
He's not played that much. I think if you're thinking of going for a Spurs asset, you're going to pick someone who's played a few more minutes, I reckon. So you're looking at Sana or Kulu or someone like that. Because obviously that got Johnson and Solanke both injured. A few injuries further down the park. Pick someone who's going to play.
Yeah, fair. Or is Son going to play down the middle again like he did last year?
Yeah, very potentially. I mean, they have played with Kulusevski in the 9 as well, but I'd expect Son to play down the middle for now, and then Kulu off the right, and then someone else off the left instead of Son. But it's annoying that Johnson's injured because that would be a good little front 3.
It would be.
Time being, but
Richarlison
did come on and score, so maybe
I think I want to stay away from Spurs assets for now. Then.
Yeah. I mean, the thing with Spurs is like, even though they've lost, they've still scored a couple of goals. So maybe their attacking assets could be. And if you go back to their results, it's been a while since they haven't scored. I don't think. I think they've scored a goal in. Oh, it's like they didn't against Forest there, but then it goes back a fair while of them getting at least a goal. So you could go with a gamble.
Well, Everton scoring is surprising, but then against Spurs, is it really? And I don't. This has not made me want to get any more Everton assets for the double. I'm not tempted to get any Everton assets at all.
But it is good that there's another game week to have a look at, because I think I read something this week that Everton's expected goals and shots and all the attacking metrics in the one game against Spurs you have to add together like 8 or 9 of their previous fixtures to get the same thing. So Moyes has come in and just kind of let them go, like go on, shoot, get some shots on target. So if they can do that and they can pick up, if Calvert-Lewin can start scoring, or something like that, there are some cheap options in there. It probably will make their defensive assets less popular if they're going to be trying to get some goals, but it's one to keep an eye on, because it's, when we talk about the new manager bounce and the new system, it is an interesting one. And the fans will be behind him, because I know they like keeping clean sheets, but the fans are always a bit unresty that they're just not scoring goals. It's not fun football to watch.
Is it time for Dwight McNeil again? I think he's still injured, actually. Otherwise, Dwight McNeil would be straight back into my team.
Yeah, it's a difficult time with Everton for me, because had this change been made a few weeks ago and we have a few weeks of Moyes, I think that would be good. But like you can see there, you've got it's maybe not a bad fixture against Brighton. Then you've got the double, but then they're not fabulous fixtures. It's not like they've got a run of green coming up, and then you get the patch of red after there. So had we had a few more weeks of information, they probably would be in contention for bringing someone in just for the double and then bench him or whatever after that. But I just don't know we've got enough information about Moyes' Everton to really gamble on someone.
It's interesting. Normally in EPL, FPL, every season at some point I have an Everton defender. This season I haven't been tempted by... Oh no, I have been tempted, but I have not brought in any Everton defence at all. We'll see how they go. Man U versus Brighton, I didn't expect this score. I expected Man United to actually do better than losing at home 3-1 to Brighton. But then once again with Brighton, I guess Minter, Matoma, Jorginho, it's the same people on the score sheet as last week.
Yeah, a bit of a horror show for Manana from all accounts. They just let a couple of cheap goals go. But again, United didn't put themselves in a position to win. And I think Fernandes scored a penalty again. So if he's not scoring penalties, he's not getting points.
Would you be tempted by Matoma? Look at his against Ipswich 10, against Man United 12. He's got Everton next. If they're going to be shooting more, they're defensively not as strong, right?
Yeah.
Sure, you've got 2 hard fixtures against Forest and Chelsea, but after that you've got Southampton, Bournemouth, not the easiest, Fulham. So maybe the fixtures aren't the best, but they're not terrible.
Yeah, I think they're not terrible, but it kind of goes with who do you remove from the scenario. So I've got Rodgers, Mbeumo, Palmer, Salah, Gordon. Gordon's got Southampton this week. Maybe after then we can consider. Salah's not going anywhere. Palmer's too hardly hold to get rid of. And Mbeumo's coming into his good fixtures. And we talked about Rodgers being a season keeper. So where's the space for these risks to go? Like maybe think of if we're going to move Gordon on for his hard fixtures, but if Newcastle push on, you want to keep hold of him. So it's more about where the space is, and I think I'm kind of not wanting to spend the transfers on a sideways maybe move.
Fair. You're right. It's interesting. Between 5 to 6.5-ish mil, they all seem to be pretty sideways moves. Like, would I want Matoma over Rodgers? I don't think so. Rodgers isn't coming into pretty good fixtures there, right? Would I want Matoma over Mard? Maybe, but it's not a huge upgrade, I don't think. I think it's a sideways upgrade. So, yeah, that's a good point.
I think if you're holding that 5 mil, 6 mil midfielder like you are with Ahmad, that you could just shuffle them through fixtures, because we've seen with United, we've seen with Brighton, Villa, that they do tend to do better against certain opposition. So juggling that player in with the green fixtures might be worthwhile. But when I've got, like, with the way that I'm set up with kind of people who I want for long batches or kind of covering the EOI, there's not a lot of room to move.
Yeah, that's fair. Southampton versus Forest. I didn't expect Southampton to score. That's another, like, this game week. I remember waking up to the points, and every single one I'm just like, that was not what I expected. Man City against Ipswich was what I expected, but Haaland's points was not what I expected. I expected him to be way more involved. But yeah, Forest versus Southampton. Forest are a strong defence. We've seen them against other large teams. What do you think happened there? Is this us seeing Southampton assets potentially being something to look at against the likes of Ipswich and things like that? Or is this one of those things where you're like, no, Andy, this is not, don't bark up that tree?
Southampton have to do something to avoid the drop, and they have to do something for the manager, and they have to try. And a Forest is probably someone that they can get at a little bit. If you look at the table, you kind of look at where are their points going to come from. There's not a lot of like, oh, points here, points there, points there. They are always going to be on the back foot. So I think maybe they're getting to the point now where they just have to go for the games. They've got to go and try and win them instead of trying to play them out. And maybe that's what we're seeing here. Maybe this was a Forest team going, we're like third, we can blitz these guys, and then being a little bit overzealous. I don't know. It's hard to call unless a pattern emerges, but we've seen games where Forest will randomly ship 3 goals. They lost to City in the middle of their blip 3-0. They let a couple in against Liverpool. They let a couple in here and there. You maybe just call it an off day and for now until a pattern comes out.
That's fair. But it's also fair that if we see Southampton going for it more, I wonder if. Well, here's the thing: it's not like we're starved for cash here. So, would you even need to have one of their enablers? Probably not, unless we get to the point where Haaland becomes essential again.
Well,
Speaking
if you
of,
get one of their strikers who is banging in a goal every other week, you could get him and stick him on the bench, and then that might build you enough room to have Haaland and Salah.
speaking of, Haaland scored once, but our boy Foden, Phil Foden. Mate, look at those last 2 scores. Salah, eat your heart out. Now, his next few aren't great, but genuine question, starting from game week 29, City assets, if Phil Foden's still firing, that could be a really good jump on point.
I would go a step further and say that Forest fixture, probably even the Spurs fixture before, I will be wanting a City asset. I still believe that City will go on a run at the end of the season, especially as they got beaten in the Champions League again this morning. So they're on the verge of not even getting to the knockout stages of that competition. If they do end up going out, I think we could see a strong City for the rest of the year, and I would expect Foden to be a part of that. So whether you pick up Foden or Haaland or both, be interesting. But I think I will very much be looking at a City asset on a wild card.
Oh, absolutely. And here's what I'm thinking. City, Foden or Haaland, why not get both? I mean, at some point, Cole Palmer, he has been good. Yes, yes, he has been getting some double-digit returns, but people have been transferring him out a lot. He's like one of the highest transferred out players this week.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Dropped in price this morning as well, I think.
yeah, I know. Devo. Anyway, that was my game week. And yeah, like I said, this week was. I know you normally do the recap of the games, but while I was on it, I was just thinking. This week, I just remember feeling very few of these results and FPL points turned out the way I thought they would.
Yeah, the one that kind of gets me a bit is the West Ham Palace one. For my assistant manager play, I would have wanted West Ham to put up a bit more of a fight, and they kind of didn't. So maybe eyes are on Everton now. If they can start to put some results together, we could be looking at them for the assistant manager chip instead. But it's about keeping your options open, isn't it, at this stage?
I think I'm going to play it safe with the assistant managership. I think I'm going to play it safe. Might just go Liverpool, Arnie slot, for the double game week. And I know people are saying Bournemouth isn't an easy game, and Everton it's a Merseyside derby last time at Everton's home ground. So would you expect Liverpool to win both? Yes. But would you be surprised if they drew or potentially lost one? You wouldn't be surprised. If there was a week to happen, this would be the week that it would happen.
So I was looking and I came up with a bit of a plan and then realised it wasn't going to work. That if we could play the assistant manager chip this week, I'd be playing it on slot. Ipswich, Bournemouth and Everton, and then Wolves. There's lots of goals in those potentially, and I think that would give me offset the triple captainship to play it a bit later, in a double game week a bit later. But triple captain's not open till next week, so that's pointless. So then you'd still have the double. So you'd have Bournemouth, Everton, Wolves, but then City. So that's not really a great third one. But
I think Liverpool can beat City. For sure.
I do too, but it's not going to be a 4-0 that against a potential against Wolves could be.
No, that's true. That's true. Yes, I think I'm going to play it safe, to be honest. At where I am at the moment, I don't necessarily think I want to take many risks. I've made one transfer this week. I don't think it's a risk. We'll see. Or actually, shall we go into it? Let's go into our team this week.
Let me guess. I think you've done Haaland out.
Yeah.
To Gakpo.
Nah. Thought about it.
Yeah.
So I thought about the people I could get in for Haaland. Like Mateta, potentially one of them. I'll be following in your footsteps. He's been on fire. Wissa is the second one. Brentford's heading into good fixtures. But I think I might do a Gordon to Mbumo in a week or two instead. I'll share my team.
So this is a part of the year where playing the transfer price game could catch you out. Because if you don't know who's moving where, you could be... Like this week, there's been... Forest have put a bid in for Wissa, and Arsenal have bid for Cunha. So if they move, very quickly your assets change.
Mate, if Cunha goes to Arsenal and he plays, I am getting Cunha in my team. Imagine that price for an Arsenal forward. Everyone's bringing Cunha in.
But if you had Cunha in the Arsenal setup, at the price he is, getting the returns that Havertz was getting, you'd be happy.
And you would argue Cunha potentially could be a better finisher than Havertz, so he should be getting more returns than what Havertz was.
And it's quite clever if they do go for him. I think it would work quite well because then it gives Saka time to come back.
For sure. So this is my team for the week. I did Haaland out for Watkins, and I know Watkins has competition. I know, but we've said in the past that Watkins is a purple patch player.
Yeah.
Our boy's been scoring. And look at his fixtures. West Ham United, Wolves away, Ipswich... West Ham at home, Wolves away, Ipswich at home. Those defences aren't great defences. And our boy's been scoring. I don't know. This is a risk where I'm like, everyone's doing it. Like, I've been watching lots of FAL commentary, and people are talking about Mateta, people are talking about Wissa, people are talking about bringing in Wood, which I already have. And I'm like... Nah, I'm going to bring in Watkins. Famous last words. We got Durant on the sidelines just waiting to step in. But still, mate, I reckon I want to take this punt on Aston Villa. Even though I've been shit-talking Aston Villa this whole season, being like they're not the same this time, I reckon in the next 3 fixtures, they can score some goals. So, yeah, I reckon I'll be playing the Rodgers-Watkins double-up. And this is a little bit of risk, I think, a little bit of a differential, because I don't think, Watkins, team selected by 16.6% isn't low. So it's not a huge differential, but yeah, like that was my sort of everyone zagging, I'm zigging play for the week. So I've got Sells in goal, which I don't expect them to keep a clean sheet against Bournemouth, but my other defender is Solicic, goalkeeper is Solicic. I'm not playing him against Tottenham. I could make a goalkeeper transfer and bench boost potentially this week, but no. Burn against Southampton, Kanate against Ipswich at home, Munoz against Brentford at home. I don't expect Crystal Palace to keep a clean sheet either, but Munoz is quite attacking. Palmer against Man City. I actually was going to play Ahmad against Fulham, but you can't fade Palmer at his price point. It doesn't feel right. Rodgers against West Ham at home, Gordon against Southampton away, and Salah captain against Ipswich at home, Wood against Bournemouth, Watkins against West Ham, and Isak against Southampton. I'm tempted to move the armband. So my armband is either between Salah, Watkins, or Isaac. I'm not fully sold on Salah, but it's Ipswich at home. It's Ipswich at home, surely. Anyway, that's my team for the week. And on the bench, I've got Ahmad, Robinson, and Hoyson.
Mm. So the way that I've set up is difficult because I just don't know. So I have made no changes. So I'm set up the same way at the moment. Sells Gabriel, Munoz, Hall, Gordon, Salah, Palmer, and Bumo, Gakpo, Mateta, Isak. And then with the Fabianski, Robinson, Rogers, and Kirkes on the bench. Like, struggled to bench Rogers, but I just kind of feel that, again, like you said, I just can't not play Palmer because of his price, and City are a little vulnerable, and I think Palmer will have a point to prove because he's playing his old team. And I've been looking at options, and I saw like a scout pick on Facebook, and I'll read it through to you because it's not that dissimilar from mine. So they've got Raya in goal, so I don't have, but then they've got Hall, Trent, and Robinson across the back, which I've got 2 of those. Salah, Gordon, and Bumo, and Rogers, Isak, Mateta, and Gakpo, which is basically my midfield and my forward line. So I'm kind of happy that my setup is good, because otherwise people wouldn't be suggesting those players. So the only people that I would think to bring in this week would be looking at Trent for the double. We get in the Ipswich game as well. But who do I take out? Because it's not obvious for me, because you think, Munoz has got Brentford this week, and then going forward, good fixtures. You look at Hall, who's probably got the worst fixtures, but they're not bad, especially this week with Southampton. And then looking at, Robinson, who's got, not great fixtures, but has been ticking along really nicely. And then you got Kirkes, who, if I'm holding people who've got meh fixtures, Bournemouth go into good fixtures, so I don't really want to move him either. So, and then am I looking at moving Gabriel, but he can fire at any point and he can get some goals, and if Arsenal turn it back on, I'm going to want to go back to Gabriel. So I don't really, and there's no easy move for me to go to Trent. So Hall's the most expensive of those, and I'm 0.1, this morning I was 0.1 short of getting Trent, so that didn't work because I've got a little bit in the bank. So then I'd have to move Gabriel, and I didn't really want to do that. So if I'm going to move any of the others, I then need to move a midfielder as well. And then which one of them do you move? Like, it would be Gordon going forward, but do I want to not play Gordon against Southampton? So I'm just feeling like I'm sticking. Salah, Liverpool fan, Ipswich, home, playing well, no brainer. The others are more tricky, and with that Southampton good game just gone, it does kind of shade the Gakpo, the Isak one a little bit. Yeah, I thought about bringing Diaz in for this week in the double, but then I'm stuck with 3 Liverpool attackers, and if they go through a dodgy spell, then I'm stuck. So I like the way the team is set up, and I don't think I'll break it apart in order to bring in Trent.
Could you I know this is a sideways move, and you'd cop a neg. You've got free transfers. Do you have any free transfers?
1.
Oh, you've got 1 free. Okay, so you cop a neg 4. Could you downgrade Kirkes to like a Hoyson, and then upgrade Hall to Trent, so that way you're still getting exposure to Bournemouth defense, and you have Trent?
Yeah. So the 3, I'll just get them up because I had it. The 3 kind of options that I had were Gabriel to Trent, which I can do in 1 move. Mm-hmm. I can do Robinson and Kirkes to Trent and Mykolenko for the double, and then just bench Mykolenko, make it easier for my going forward. Mm-hmm. Or I can do Robinson and Gordon to Trent and Kulusevski.
I don't hate that last one. I feel like that would be high risk, high reward.
So for a -4,
Yeah.
I'm after some deliberation with my lazy FPL group, thinking maybe holding the transfer for the week, getting the 2 free transfers, and then doing that move next week, missing the Ipswich game. But is Trent going to outscore Gordon by at least 4 this week? Probably not if they've both got good fixtures. So, Trent would need to get a clean sheet and a goal and some bonus if Gordon gets any returns at all. I do like moving off Gordon after this week because I do have a lot of Newcastle and I do move into bad fixtures. So doing that, Robinson to Trent and then Gordon to Kulu next week because I look at Son but I can't afford him. So that still gives me a bit of money to play with and it still gives me options if I need to move off Mateta if he goes off the boil or anything like that. So options to play with because the other thing I can do is move Fabianski down to a 3.9 and then that will get me the what I need. But if I also just kind of if I show you this screen again, if I hit transfers, and this is my other thing is that now I've spent time building my squad value, I don't just want to go and throw it all down the pan. So looking at, this, you've got quite a lot of value. Like if I'm moving Gabriel, he's now 6'4" and I bought him for 6. Kirkez is 4'8" and I bought him for 4'5". Munoz is the cheapest at 4'8", I bought for 4'7". Robinson 5'1", bought at 4'8". Hall at 5'1", bought at 4'4". Even Gordon is 7'7", bought at 7'6". But you look at Rogers, I got 0.4 in, and Bumo not much in. Palmer's got 0.6 in. Salah's nearly got a mil in. They like Isak's nearly got a mil in there. Like they start to become frustrating because of the money you have built up in them, and until they go off the boil, it's too hard to move across when it's a risk.
Fair. That's a fair call. That's a very fair call. I like the Trent pick. I won't lie. I legitimately. This seems so sideways in the sense that a clean sheet's a clean sheet, but I was going to go Konate to Trent. Because I transferred Trent out for Konate so I could afford Haaland. That just didn't pay off that well. But here's the thing. Or for me at least, I don't want to block myself from 3 Liverpool in case I go slot. Because you can't have 3 Liverpool and slot. So are you sure you won't... here's the thing. Are you sure you're not going to play assistant manager with slot? Otherwise, don't block yourself out of 3 Liverpool. If there's any chance you think you assistant managership with slot, doing the triple Liverpool is going to block you out of that.
See, this is where I think I'm settled, is that I don't feel that I will hold 3 Liverpool past the double. I think it will be more of a, like when so Jota is out at the moment. Once he's fit again, that becomes a rotation risk again. If Diaz hits a bit of form as well, you've now got that full rotation back in swing. So when that happens, I think I would be moving Gakpo to Wood or someone similar anyway. And I don't see myself holding Trent long term. Just, I think, like doubles and good fixtures. I think they've got a good fixture. They've got Wolves after the double, 3 game weeks. And then I think there's a lot of money to hold in there. Which is like, again, do I just move them to someone like Konate, or I can get to Van Dijk and then just keep the clean sheets? But if you're going for Trent, you're going for the attacking potential, and I've got Kirkez, Hall, and the other Robinson, who are all attacking fullbacks. And then if I'm going to a centre back along with Gabriel, bit harder. If Gabriel keeps not performing, and Arsenal can't keep the clean sheets, then maybe Gabriel out is the better way. Because if he's not getting clean sheets as a centre-back and he's not getting the goals, he's not worth the money. So maybe then Trent would be the expensive defender that I keep. I don't know.
I see your dilemma. I like the Trent call. I'm genuinely tempted by going Konate to Trent. It's such like I literally transferred Trent out for Konate, and 2 weeks later I'm just going to do it back in. So that's the only thing stopping me. But Trent would be good on that double game week.
I'm also half thinking about everybody else as well, because when I
Mm.
transfer someone in who I think is a set and gonna do well, they don't do well. So I'm thinking about the millions of managers who've got Trent, and if I bring him in, he's gonna blank for 3 game weeks in a row. So it's probably better for everyone else if I don't bring him in too.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you, mate. That is a bit of a dilemma. Is your captain's armband definitely on Salah?
I think so. Like I said, like I've played it on Isak a couple of times, and I've got like a 50-50 result out of him. A differential would be go with like a Gordon and see if something comes out of there. Um, but when I'm kind of looking at my team, I'm not overly enthused by anyone else. And Bimo at Palace might have been a good one, but like they're kind of like pretty level now. And then it's Mateta, and I don't really feel Mateta's a captaincy pick. So I think it's a Newcastle boy or Salah, and after Newcastle just got knocked around a bit by Bournemouth, maybe they'll come back. Maybe it's the end of the blip. Maybe it's the end of the purple patch. I don't know. And Salah just feels more of the consistent safe pick.
Yeah, that's fair. I can see that because I mean we talk about Robinson as being an attacking asset, but Fulham are coming into potentially difficult fixtures. Next is Man United, Newcastle, not in Forest. I don't expect any clean sheets there. Crystal Palace, maybe. Wolves, Brighton, maybe 1 to 2 tops clean sheets there. Then they got Spurs, Arsenal, Liverpool, Bournemouth, Chelsea. So if you could transfer someone out, you could do something with Robinson if that helps your forward trend.
Yeah, Robinson to Trent was what I was point one short on, and that was before Trent
Ah,
went up in price today.
bugger, he went up.
Yeah, I think he
Mm.
did. So it gets tricky. But yeah, like Robinson is the one I'd look at moving because of the fixtures aren't the best, and the others are kind of matching him in the similarish fixtures. So the other one I was like, I didn't want to move Gabriel this week. I know he's not got the best fixtures and it hasn't been performing well, but if there's any truth to the Arsenal bidding on Cunha, if there's a deal in place there, Cunha's not going to play against Arsenal.
Ooh.
So if he doesn't play, that reduces Wolves' chance of scoring, which increases Gabriel's clean sheet chances. And it would be very interesting if he's on the pitch. I don't think the deal's happening. If he's somehow absent or on the bench, I would imagine he's moving.
Oh my god, that makes me a bit excited. That makes me. I love transfer rumors. Actually, you know what? What are other transfer rumors? Talk to me. Talk dirty to me.
They're the ones I've heard. To be honest, is
Okay.
an actual bid in for Cunha and an actual bid in, and the bid in for Wissa from Forest was an actual tabled bid, but it wasn't.
I heard it was low ball. It was 20
It was
mil.
lowballed. It wasn't enough to get him out, but enough to unsettle him. I think to get them
Mm.
thoughts moving about what could happen. And you know, at the start of the season, Brentford to Forest, probably not an upgrade. Now, Brentford to Forest, you may be looking at Champions League football next year.
Ooh. Mate. Cunha to Arsenal. Oh, who would go out of my team? Would, maybe. Watkins, I don't know. Dilemmas. That would give me a dilemma. That would give me a big headache. I don't know who to ship out.
And mine's easy because mine would be Gakpo.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it does make it harder because I think we talked about last week that coming up, after I think game week 25, 26, Wolves have got some great fixtures. So then it takes that option away. And I don't think we then will go with a Wolves player for an
No, you go with the Ex-Wolves player, Cunha. Oh, mate. All right. Well, this week's fixtures coming up. Shall we go through some predictions? Do you want to do your predictions line up?
Do my thing.
Or I can if you want, whatever.
Let's. I'm going to share the screen first. That would help. All right. So kicking off with a whole batch of games on Sunday morning. So Bournemouth, Forest. What do you think?
I think it's going to be a 2-2.
I go 3-2 Forest.
Brighton, Everton.
Ugh. I even though I'm a Liverpool fan, I would like to see Everton put up a fight at the last kind of 6 months at Goodison Park. I know this one's away, so I'm going to go with 2-2, and I want to see them putting some performances in.
Yeah, I could see this 2-1 Brighton. Liverpool, Ipswich, I reckon 3-0 or 2-0.
I go 2-0. I think this is one of those ones that we expect will be a 6-5-6, and it'll actually be a bit of a lower key affair. Remembering that Liverpool have just played the Champions League again in a few weeks. They've got to play Tottenham in the League Cup. There's energy to be used in further game week, so I think this, if we get a couple of goals up, I think it will cruise from there.
Southampton, Newcastle, thoughts?
3-1 Newcastle.
I reckon 3-2 Newcastle.
Cool.
Wolves, Arsenal. Oh, is Cunha playing? I reckon 2-1 Wolves.
2-1 to Wolves.
No, sorry, 2-1 Arsenal. Sorry, wrong way. 2-1 Arsenal. Sorry.
I'm going to go with Cunha won't play, and I'm going to go 2-0 Arsenal.
Oh mate, if Cunha doesn't play, I'm going to go and buy a Cunha jersey. No, okay, maybe not that keen. We'll see. We need to see how he goes. This is like that time when there once was rumours that what's his name? He was a Liverpool striker.
Suarez.
The one that bit people.
Suarez. 40 million and $1.
There was a rumour about Arsenal bidding on him, and I was like, I'm gonna go buy a Suarez Arsenal jersey, even though there is no confirmation on this rumour at all.
That might have got you some bad lucks.
Oh, that's funny. That's hilarious. City Chelsea. This will be an interesting game. I reckon 3-2 City.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I think I'm going to go 2-2.
Yeah, okay. Mate, if Haaland gets a brace, my lord, getting trolled by Haaland, which is possible.
Just City were 2-0 up in the Champions League this morning against PSG, and then they lost 4-2. So I think that still has the results still have a bit of an impact on this City team. So yeah, 2-2.
Palace Brentford, thoughts?
I'm going to go with a 2-1 Brentford. No, 2-1 Palace. 2-1 Palace.
I was going to say 2-1 Palace. Yeah, okay. Spurs Leicester.
3-1 Spurs.
I was going to go say, yeah, it'll be a 3 or 4. I reckon 4-2 Spurs.
Cool.
Villa.
West Ham. I think this is a safe 2-0 Villa.
For some reason, I can see West Ham doing something dirty and just like getting 3 goals or two goals or something in, and no one expects it. They've been inconsistent like that. West Ham's been like Spurs. They've been like West Ham v Hams v Hamsy, right? The Hams v Hammy. I can see 3-2 Villa.
Cool.
2-1. Oh, who would win this 2-1? 2-1 United.
2-1 Fulham.
Ooh, okay, very good. All right.
So I just like thinking, like going through our scores. We've got Liverpool keeping a clean sheet. We've got Spurs putting a bucket in. You know the Trent and the Kulu transfer starts to look good.
I'll be honest, right? I think it's high risk, high return. I don't hate those transfers. They're unconventional. They're different enough, but not crazy different. You're not bringing someone who's only playing like 1 minute, right? They're different enough, but also safe enough where you're like, oh, I can see that turning out well. But I can also wouldn't be surprised if Cooley blanked, then Trent got, I don't know, Trent got just the 2 points or something.
And it's the -4 that I think if I had the free transfers, it would be a no-brainer. But I think it's because when you think about the ownership levels, like it's not like I'm buying someone who's not owned well. So like they're good picks, and it's not like I'm going off and choosing two differentials. Kulu's probably a differential, but if you think of like Mbumo and Palmer, even Mateta's probably a little bit more differential, but like the rest of my team's pretty much run of the mill, so to speak. So it's not like I'm going off and picking all Southampton players and Leicester players and going, oh, they might get a goal. Like, but yeah, it's one to think about, and it depends how hard I want to play it. Because if I did go that way and make those transfers this week, the next few weeks, and it doesn't work, the next few weeks have got to be real safe.
But you're keeping Trent for the next few weeks, though, if you made the transfers this week. So that's one less transfer you need to make in the future.
So what you're saying is only a -2 because he's going to get 4 points for playing twice next week.
True. That is true. Yeah, I don't know if I'm on. Yeah, I can see Trent versus Ipswich at home. If he scored, would you be surprised?
I wouldn't be surprised if he assisted. So a clean sheet and an assist. And I'm not super surprised if he scores. Like you'd expect Liverpool to get some free kicks from reasonably high up, with players being pulled down, with Ipswich trying to stop Salah, stop Gakpo from running through. So you'd expect some free kicks in and around the box. I'd expect him to maybe put one of those in or come close. We're going to get corners. He's going to put a load of those in. He's going to have a couple of pops from outside the box. So, I wouldn't be surprised. But if I bring him in, I wouldn't be surprised if he did nothing.
Yeah, I can see that. Well, all right. Best of luck with your decision, sir.
Thank you.
Best of luck. And, yeah, let's see how this week plays out.
Let's roll on to the double game week.
Peace.
See you, mate. See you, everyone.